All right, hello and welcome to my day 103. I feel real official. I got like nice little jacket on and all that. Um, really not sure how long I'm going to stay on today, but I do know that I wanted to actually try to multitask. I wanted to go ahead and spend some time on some of the um, I want to spend some time on some of the sessions that I was looking at, that I was eyeing yesterday from Google Cloud Next. We watched the keynotes already, at least the main keynotes, but I do want to, just spend a little bit of time there because I was going to start working on my MLE cert training. I was going to work on that, but then I was like, wait, I was supposed to be watching this stuff from some of the other sessions, some of the breakout sessions. So that's what I'm going to do today. Miss Side Nerd, happy Friday. How are you? I'm over here. I cleaned up well, right? I put my makeup on and everything. Y'all know I had an interview today. Next. Justice is tripping. If I that's all I can say. That boy is doing the most. So he is in his bed. He just broke a glass. So at this point, I'm like, yeah, it's bedtime. Okay, gotcha. He didn't really take a real nap today. I just don't understand. Like, what's the point? What's the point of having this? So yeah, he didn't take a real nap today, and he just been tripping ever since. So after he went and threw the glass, I'm like, yeah, let's just go ahead and lay down. He's chilling though. He's watching Yo Gabba Gabba, I think, but he just, I don't know. I don't want to claim like terrible twos. It's just, he's going through some changes. That's all I can say. But yeah, I think my interview went well today. It was a good conversation. And for me, because I have experience with like teaching and boot camps and programs, all types of like the way the thoughts I have around education and technical education, it's good to get a sense of pretty much all the roles I'm looking at right now are related to like some type of developer education space, training, programs, and like I said, education. So having had a little bit of experience with that in various capacities, there's always certain types of indicators that I'm looking for as well to know, whether it would be a good fit for me or not. So I'm looking forward to the follow-up on that, but I think it was a really good conversation, and I'm still interested, you can say that. Yes. Ms. Seidner, I hope your process has been going along too. Honestly, this week has just been like the most. It's been the most. So overall, I'm just ready to chill. Like, I'm just ready to have a chill day. Obviously, when you have something like an interview coming up, like that consumes your brain a lot. And then I also was on this info session for one of the programs that we're working on, kind of bringing into fruition this summer. The program's supposed to kick off like the first week in June. So we had an info session today, and I wasn't originally planning to participate. Oh, excuse me. I wasn't originally gonna be on that call or a part of that meeting because it happened in another city. Like it was in Ann Arbor. So Ann Arbor is like 45 minute. I would say probably like 45-minute drive from Detroit. But I ended up joining remotely. I'm just so confused. But yeah, we should connect. We can connect directly, Miss Sinary, so we can talk a little bit more. But yeah, look, that internal support is just so helpful, and we need it so much. I was just talking to my business partner, and he was telling me about some experiences he's been having, and it's just, sometimes we have such unique experiences. They're not unique though, like, and I keep saying we, but like honestly, like being an underrepresented, minority in the tech space, and it's a challenge at the end of the day. But it's so much easier to navigate the process when you have a community right at the end of the day, and that you have like somebody that has your back, and you can talk through different situations that you're going through, or you can get advice and just, in a safe space. So yeah. And I always say, I've been focusing so much more on my faith, especially over the past few years. Like especially since I had my son, because it's a challenge to be navigating all the different avenues and all the different challenges and all the different, you gotta navigate things with tact, and you have to deal with people kind of gaslighting you when they're wrong. You have to, like for me getting into this space, I definitely had to fight my way up in a lot of situations that probably shouldn't have even taken place. A lot of unnecessary challenges, and people underestimate you so much that it'd be that one for me. Like, being underestimated it can be very discouraging for a lot of people. To me, I would say there's been times where it discouraged me, but over the years that became even more of a motivator, even more of a driving factor. But it still doesn't feel good. Like, I know what my capabilities are. I know what kind of value I bring to the table. And when you go into like the interview process, when you go into wanting a promotion, when you go into, wanting to transition into this field, whatever the case may be, there's just like that balance you have to strike of being able to present yourself and what you know and what you're capable of, and yet at the same time knowing that people are going to see you how they want to see you, if that makes sense. I don't know. So yeah, so just like going through the interviews, because I haven't been interviewing for the last couple of years. So starting to get back out there, go through interviews, like put my resume out there and all that. As I'm starting to do that in the last couple of weeks, yeah, it's very interesting. It's a very interesting process. And I can say personally that as challenging as it is, I'm a lot more confident in my presenting myself than I was for a while, because I definitely went through a phase of uncertainty. I think that's how I would describe it. It was heavy on the heavy on the imposter syndrome, heavy on anxiety. Just, it was a lot, and it was the pandemic. That was during the pandemic, so it was just so much going on. I think a lot of us were going through a lot at the time, but it did take a toll on like my identity, I think you could say. And it made me really question who I was, but it also, I won't say it made me question who I was. It more so, as I was going through that, I started to realize, or I realized at some point, that I was associating my identity with my career. And that was just a whole nother avenue. Because if you start to associate your identity with your career in particular, it's very hard to separate from. It's hard to separate from it. It's hard to, it's hard to see yourself outside of the work that you do. And then it's like, what happens when you don't have that job anymore? What happens if you don't want that job anymore? What happens when you do experience those different, when you are experiencing those different, like, professional challenges with people, and there are biases, and there are different issues that we face. So yeah, that was really interesting. That was hard for me, honestly. It was hard for me. So like, knowing what I was going through at that time, and like, honestly, the crazy thing is, like, I was killing it. Like, it was like the point in which I was doing the best, the most. That's when I was struggling the most. Like, imposter syndrome never hit me so hard until I was getting promoted like every year, and I was just constantly getting all the support. I was getting all the kind of like boost up, everything I would have wanted. You end up realizing, like, oh, okay, that can still breed. Like, that's actually a really, really crazy breeding ground for imposter syndrome. So I don't know, I really kind of say all that to say, I know personally, I recognize that I'm the type of person where I present, I've been through stuff in my life, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you would never know what's going on. You would never know what's going on in the background for me. Like, if I come to stream and everything, if I come to teach, if I come to speak at an event, like, I'm not going to wear my situation on my shoulders. But because of that, I noticed that a lot of times people just have this misconception that, like, I don't go through stuff. I don't face, like, these different challenges, and I don't have, like, imposter syndrome and all these other things. And it's just like, that's not the case. I would say I'm graced to handle things. I'm graced to handle those situations. I have grace over my life to handle a lot of those situations. But that doesn't mean that I don't experience it. Because I've actually experienced so many of these situations, like, firsthand, that's what makes me so passionate about, like, my teaching. That's what makes me so passionate about advocating for different opportunities. That's what makes me so passionate about trying to remove barriers and things like that, because I know what it's like, literally firsthand, like, literally. So I get it. Like, I'm here, honestly. I've been just coming to stream every day. I think this is one of the best things I've done in a long time. And, there's other great opportunities and other great things I've been working on. But this is it's a different type of experience. I keep saying, like, it's a lot more self-reflection, and it's a lot more raw. I mean, because I'm like, I'm not gonna, like, I'm not about to put all my business out there or anything like that. Even with, like, the interviewing process, it's like, I'm not gonna talk about the companies and things like that, just because realistically, like, I don't know what that would even do to my interviewing prospects. Like, I'm a very transparent person, though. So the whole point of me live streaming the behind the scenes is to give people the real, because this is a real life. I have a real life. I have a real son that needs to eat. I have real goals, dreams, and aspirations. And none of it is simple. None of it is easy. And I don't have tiny goals. Like, I'm not that person. I only decide to do the biggest, most lofty things ever. Like, that's the only way I operate. So yeah, I get it. I really do. That's what I was saying before, when people are like, a lot of times people are like, I want to be like you, and I'm like, oh, do you? Yeah, I don't know that that's necessarily true. I think people want certain outcomes in life, but the saying is like, people want your glory, but they don't want your story. Not saying I'm glorious, just saying that, people say like, oh, when I'll make a goal and I'll accomplish a goal, right? And people be like, oh, that's so amazing, like you did that thing, and not and just seeing the surface level of what I accomplished, and not really understanding like how much blood, sweat, and actual tears might have went into that process. So I lift up everybody who is working on themselves, who is trying to advance, who is like, especially if you're struggling with just really owning who you are and not questioning and doubting yourself. That could be like the biggest challenge. You could be the most talented person in the world. You could have everything, all your ducks in a row, but when you're not able to walk in that like fully, you feel it because you know what you're capable of. We know what we capable of. And a lot of, like me, I'm ambitious. I'm an overachiever. Like, I'm a go-getter. And I like to help people too. So when I was going through that whole phase I was talking about, it's like, I know what I'm capable of, and yet I don't feel like I'm living it out in the right way, or in a sustainable way. That was hard for me, because I actually, at that time, I had decided like that I didn't want to do the job that I had full-time anymore. I was like, I love being a software engineer, and I actually tie my identity to being a software engineer, to having a I guess you could say like somewhat of a prestigious like role, and it was hard for me to walk away from that at the time, because I just realized I was spreading myself too thin, and like my 9 to 5 work just really wasn't aligned with what I wanted to be doing, and ultimately I was really like burning myself out as a part of that process. That's funny, because when I was going to therapy at the time, and the therapist said, like, basically said I was mourning my I was mourning my identity. I said, you can mourn. I didn't realize, like, I never heard anybody talk about mourning outside of like if you lose a loved one, you can mourn, right? If you if a relationship failed, like, you can mourn. If your house burned down, like, you can mourn. But I didn't think I was like, I didn't understand that I could be mourning my, like, a career change. So that just changed my perspective a lot. It changed my perspective a lot. And it made me be a little bit more understanding of myself at the time. Like, all of a sudden it was like, okay, I see. Because I was just like, why do I feel like this? Like, this sucks. Like, why? Like, you really beat yourself up sometimes in those types of situations. So I'm grateful at the end of the day, because I know it's not easy. I know that firsthand. I have to walk this out every single day of my life. So I understand And if I'm here to be a support system to anybody else, then I feel like I'm doing what I'm called to do. If I can, remove any type of unnecessary friction along the way, then I'm doing what I'm here to do. Mourning the old identity, yes, it's thick. It's thick, man. It's thick. Really and truly. So yeah, I'm all polished up. It's so funny just because I'm like, I don't wear like suits and stuff no more. Like, just because it's the combination of the pandemic, remote lifestyle, on top of me being a techie. Like, I definitely it was a lot of like t-shirts and hoodies. And not even just any kind of t-shirts and hoodies, but just like you got your swag from your company. Y'all probably see me wear Autonomic stuff all the time, and I worked for Autonomic like a few years ago. But I wear so much Autonomic stuff because we had hoodies, we had hats, we had socks, we had rain, we had freaking umbrellas, we had bags, we had backpacks. Like, I got so much Autonomic stuff just by itself. That's just one company. So I'm like, I went through so many phases or so many years of being in that environment. The last week, this week, I wore like a jacket, like a nice jacket or whatever, or I got dressed up like twice this week, and it felt good because I was like, shoot, I didn't wear a suit in a long time. But I've been getting my wardrobe up, y'all. The only thing is, all of my stuff is like pink. So the type of interview I had today, I wouldn't wear a pink suit just because it was a little bit more like business professional type of situation. So that's the only reason why I don't got the all pink suit on, because I do understand and know and have the training and grooming to understand the differences between my environments. This is really like a business casual. This is more business casual, smart casual, if I'm being honest, with my jacket. But I don't really wear a lot of business professional, like solid black, solid dark. I don't like, my wardrobe doesn't look like that right now, but I look real polished, right? Mr. Friend, welcome in. I cannot see y'all names with these dark names on this dark background. Yeah, Mr. Friend, okay. I'm just over here chatting for real, but I'm just it's a struggle. It's a struggle every day sometimes. But you know what? When you know that you are doing what you are supposed to do, when you know you're on your right path, and you start experiencing friction, that's how you know to keep going. It doesn't necessarily, it doesn't necessarily make it easier for me. Sometimes just knowing that, it does make it easier for me. Because instead, when I experience different challenges, like like right now, like I feel like I'm doing a lot to move towards what it is that I'm supposed to be focused on. I'm doing a lot to stay in alignment, just faith-wise. So when I see the different other challenges coming into the situation, yeah, it absolutely does encourage me a bit. It doesn't make it easy, but it encourages me, because I'm like, oh, I see, now that I'm working on this thing. Like I was telling y'all before, when I was really trying to get back into streaming last year, it was so many times where I'm trying to go live, and as soon as I want to go live, there's going to, my computer starts acting stupid, or just some random thing will be happening that would just be trying to prevent me from going to live. And instead of getting frustrated about it, like, it's a frustrating situation, but instead of like walking away, I would say, oh, you know what? That's exactly why I'm about to go live. Now I know that's exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now, because why am I getting all this resistance? I understand. It's like, I see what you tried there. It's not gonna work though. It might have worked in the past, but it doesn't work anymore. I do. I, this is wisdom from experience. This is legit. Like this is, and I've been saying, I'm having this. I'm very much having like a transitional point in my life right now, um, because 10 years ago, 10 years ago from now, I was trying to figure my life out. I was going into this quarter life crisis. I was experiencing a lot of challenges in school. And even like I said, now it's a little bit different for me now because I understand where the friction was coming from. Um, but at the same time, like I said, I was going through a lot of challenges. It wasn't really school. It wasn't like the education part of school, even though that was hard because I was a mechanical engineering student and that's just hard. But it was like financial. I did not have money for school, and I was always fighting with financial aid and everything. And it just did not make my experience any better. And then I started working for a coding boot camp. So this is like around the time that boot camps first started getting popular, and they weren't even really like in the Bay. It was popular to do a boot camp, and like they kind of had already started to accept that as like a proper means of getting into software. But mostly everybody else was still kind of traditional. Here in Detroit, it was still very traditional, but we did have a boot camp that had launched back then. They were just getting started, honestly, and that's when I started working there. And basically I ended up leaving school and taking a boot camp. I did a bunch of other stuff in between, but ultimately after getting exposed to coding and what my opportunities were and what my options were, I said, oh, I can really just like take ownership over this process. And instead of fighting with them, and they're not even trying to support me or help me get done with my degree. Like I only had one more year left of my degree at the time. I just went ahead and took a boot camp, and like the rest is history from there. But now it's 10 years later, you know what I mean? So I think I actually 10 years ago is when I first actually started working for the boot camp. I was an intern, and that was when I first started getting exposed to tech. I took my boot camp in 2016, at the beginning of 2016. So 2016 is when I first started as a software engineer after my boot camp. So yeah, I'm definitely at this phase right now where it's like I just kind of have to reevaluate what my goals are. I know what some of my next steps are as far as my education and as far as what I'm trying to do, 10 years down the line. But there's a lot I have to still kind of figure out of what this in-between phase looks like for me and what makes the most sense. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's why I've been deciding, like, am I gonna make my hair pink? Because that was around the time that was when I first started coloring my hair. Like, I've always been blonde, don't get me wrong. I'm a natural blonde, y'all. I've been blonde since I was 15, so I'm a natural blonde. But yeah, I started like, because before I got into tech, like I was an engineering student, right? And then I'm also like, I have a sorority and everything. Like when I was in college, there was a very strong like professional grooming process that I was going through in multiple different avenues. So like with our sorority, like when you go to events, when you go to conferences, even as being an interest for the sorority, you show up, like you learn how to dress, like you have to be a business professional to come to events, to go to conferences and things like that. So you get used to wearing suits. And then when I got into engineering is still very traditional, or at least, towards that time. So when we would go to conferences, I did like a lot of leadership roles as well. I always dressed up. We always had to be like suit and tie basically. And then, so then I got into tech and it was like, oh, okay, this is like real laid back and chill. I started coloring my hair pink basically 10 years ago, probably 10 years ago. And I remember I didn't even color my hair all the way. I put like this liquid chalk that could rinse out, because my hair was already platinum. So I put this liquid chalk that I could rinse out, just to see. And then I didn't even do, dang, I'm like, I want to find my old little avatar, because if you ever seen my really old avatar, then you would recognize, like, I didn't have my hair fully pink when I first started. I just had like a patch of it, or like the front was pink or something like that, and it was something I could rinse out. So like, if I when I came to work that day, I was just kind of waiting to see, like, how's it going to be received and everything. And it was just like, the CEO came in and he's like, "Oh, that's so cool, da 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 da," and everybody was just like so for it. I was like, "Oh, okay, like this is cool." And ever since then, I've been coloring my hair like color, and I do like coloring my hair. Don't get me wrong, but it's just, I'm rethinking where I am personally in my overall professional brand, because I'm going into different types of rooms now. I'm having different types of conversations, and I already don't necessarily look like, I look young. And then I come in, like, especially when I'm dressed down and then I got pink hair, and I look like I could be 25 instead of 35. And yeah, that don't play well in a lot of rooms. And again, it's not, because I was talking about this before. I'm like, it's not necessarily about me leaning into what other people think as much. It's more so knowing what it is that I personally want to present. Um, and knowing my audience. Someone told me at this conference I went to earlier in the week. Earlier in the week, I went to um, the Great Lakes Women's Small Business Council. They actually had like a leadership conference, and I was invited there. Multiple people had recommended me as a moderator for their corporate panel. And like, I'm like, you know what? I run conferences. I know corporates at the end of the day, as far as like, appearance and things like that. And when you have a conference and you have sponsors, especially your panel of corporate sponsors, I'm sensitive to what that really means and what that looks like, because every organization I've been in, that's a big factor for us. So anyways, that event came up, and it was really good. But after the fact, I was talking to one of the women who had she was one of the panelists for a different panel, and she said, like, I was talking to her about this whole like appearance thing and whatnot. She said she said, know your audience and know who pays you, know who's gonna pay you, and you dress for that audience. I was like, it was just a very nice little tidbit of random advice. But it was funny that she said that, because I was like, yeah, like my brand overall for Meta Dev Girl, like my professional brand is more so, has been geared towards developers, right? Like, because I teach developers, I coach, I bring folks into that process. But now I'm going in, like I said, I'm going into different rooms. I'm looking into different opportunities, and trying to go float a little bit further up the org chart, so to speak. So it's just interesting. I'm having a good time though, but I feel like some other people are, as we talked about, like mourning things that you didn't know you could mourn. Like, I'm starting to see people having a hard time with me not coloring my hair. A harder time than I'm having with it. You can do. I keep flipping the switch on. My mouse was drawn too much power. My mouse pad, I should say, was drawn too much power. But yeah, it's it's not necessarily about what you can get away with in your appearance. It's about, you really have to think about, what the overall goal is that you're trying um to pursue. right? Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, I can go and do anything I want to do. I can, it's not about like whether it quote unquote looks nice or like, am I getting away with it? It's like if I walk into a room with if I walk into a room of corporate executives dressed a certain type of way and looking a certain type of way, I'm not going to be taken seriously. And that's just the reality of it. Good, bad, or indifferent. That's the reality of it, right? Because you have to know your audience and you have to know your environment. So, um, like I said, to me, like I would actually be a little bit more sensitive about how people are like, because like people are kind of coming at me like, oh, you're not gonna color your hair no more, like, but that's just you. And it's like, no, it's just, it's something I like to do, but also it does not define me. um so there's that. It's very interesting. Wait, why y'all still can't hear me? Oh, Twitch was misbehaving. No, it was. Oh, you can hear me on YouTube. Yeah, it was. Twitch is so funny. Twitch be tripping. My audio did cut out for a second, but Twitch also just decides like, hey, your audio shouldn't work anymore. Let's see. Hold on, I'm refreshing my devices. Okay. And then let me refresh. See, this is why y'all gotta just follow me on YouTube. Twitch is like, Twitch is always acting weird. There's nothing I can do about it though. And I noticed it wasn't just me. I've been in other people's streams that were streaming to both at the same time, and their YouTube audio was fine, and their Twitch audio was like not working. Is my headphones so loud that it's getting picked up by my mic? Yeah, Twitch. RIP Twitch. Y'all can probably hear Justice in the background though. Let me see where my let me see. Microphone. Where's my, I need my filters. How do I do that? Performance mode. I really don't want to restart my stream. Is it like messing up? Hold on, let me see. Like, I know the audio probably ain't working, but like, is it? What? Why are you trying to? I don't want to. Twitch is fine now? Okay. You can hear the background music getting too? Smacked it around. Yeah, look. Yeah, but no, that's all I'm saying. I'm like, really, you know your audience. Tech Tech is very, very lenient. Very lenient. You can get away with anything. As far as like appearance and stuff like that. But yeah, you do have to acknowledge that like at the end of the day, people judge books by covers. So when you in the room with people and the culture is different, you want to be sensitive to that. So it's just more so been me, like I'm just at a point where I'm like, what do I want to represent? And I've just been really completely redoing my wardrobe recently. But like I said, a lot of my stuff that I have now is all pink. It's like all pink everything. So I got like pink suits and everything. So I wasn't gonna wear a pink suit for an interview that really should be like business professional, because a pink suit is not business professional. My voice is a bit modulated. Oh, see, Twitch is just, I don't know what to tell y'all about Twitch. At least we now have the quality. We have pink all day, but not the hair. It just depends. Now, I'll show y'all something, because when I first, I really, well, for one, I actually had wanted to have my hair platinum, because I was like, I haven't had my hair platinum in a long time. And like I said, it's really only been the last 10 years that I've been wearing my hair like with different colors, like rainbow colors. But it's annoying because I color my own hair. I really don't let anybody else color my hair. So it's annoying that whenever I want to like maybe change the color up or do something different, or if I have, I have to keep up with bleaching my hair. And it's way more complicated than you probably can even imagine. Like, I already knew I was gonna have to probably end up cutting all my hair off after I had the blue streak, because it was going to be really hard for me to find a new way of coloring my hair that was going to come out consistent. I was never going to get all that color out of my hair. Almost every time I colored my hair blue, I end up cutting it after, because it's really hard to get blue out. And no matter how much I got all the color out, because my hair was two different colors, it was like, if I just decided to go one solid color after the fact, it was not going to be even. So, and I don't care, I'll cut my hair, I don't care. Y'all see I got roots already, and I just I just bleached my hair like 2 weeks ago, maybe three. I just bleached my hair last month. I cut my hair, it's gonna be okay. I cut my locks off, it's gonna be okay. By the end of the year, y'all gonna forget I cut my hair. But I was gonna show y'all this. This is it right here. So it's my LinkedIn. When I had this hairstyle, my hair is platinum. I wanted I had her give me like this Harley Quinn, the girl who braids my hair. I had her do like a Harley Quinn thing for me. This right, because Harley Quinn has like the pink and the blue ombre, so that's what my inspiration was for that hairstyle. So the thing is, my actual hair is platinum, and then the way she braided my hair, she was able to feed in and like make an ombre. So I was like, I didn't actually have to put color in my hair in this. So I'm thinking about doing something like that again. And that just gives me more flexibility, because it's just, especially while my hair is short, until I grow my hair back out a little bit longer, it's really hard to bleach my roots without damaging or like over bleaching I don't want to over process my hair. So it's kind of hard to when your hair is so short, it's kind of hard to get in and only bleach the roots and not get the bleach on anything else. By the time I had my hair, like by the time I did this hairstyle, my hair was pretty long. My hair was like as long as it was when I cut it just now, but it was just simpler. So I still got wiggle room. It's okay. It's okay. I know y'all like the color. It's okay. um yeah, I have blue hair. Blue hair works for me. But yeah, as far as like my my grooming and my soft skills and all that, like when I was saying when I was growing up, I guess I was growing up though. Most of my time in college, I was here. Let me do this. Most of my time in college, I was like I said, I was a leader on campus. I did different leadership organizations. I became an interest for my sorority when I was a freshman. So I had a lot of grooming, professional grooming, right? So, and I don't even know if that's like a bad term to use, because I've heard people using the term grooming in like a bad way. But for me, grooming was, like when I was trying to join my sorority, I was an interest. Like, you have to really showcase that you're going to be a value add. And, my sorority is very particular. So the way that you carry yourself and like your poise and your demeanor, like how you speak, and like it's the utmost, it's the highest standards. So that was something that I definitely needed a little bit of work on. Like, just knowing what's appropriate, how to carry yourself, how to be in professional environments and things like that. So that helped out a lot. And then as a leader on campus in different organizations, like student leaders get a lot of professional grooming. I was a member of NSBE, National Society of Black Engineers. I've been a chapter leader. I've been a regional board member. I've been a national board member. I've been a convention committee member. I've been a site director for our engineering camp. I've done a lot of different roles in NSBE, and NSBE does a fantastic job of actually, grooming and developing your leadership skills, leadership qualities, capabilities, etc. when you're in those different roles. So that also has a lot to do with just my overall, professional, I keep saying grooming, but it really was a lot. It was a lot of professional development from that aspect. And then just personally, I'm always about growth and advancement and things like that. So, I work on stuff, I work on stuff. But yeah, used to do barbering for a while. Oh, okay. So with the short hair and stuff. Yeah, I just, I don't care. I'll cut my hair off. I don't care. It'll grow back. Especially a lot of times it's easier for me to cut it than it is to try to since I color my hair a lot, sometimes it's easier to cut it than to try to get the old color out. Or sometimes I actually had to cut my hair right after the last time I cut my hair before this, which was like a year ago. I cut my hair at the end of 2022, like the new year between 2022 and 2023. But I only cut my hair that time because I had a lot of postpartum shedding after I had my son, and I didn't realize it was gonna cause me so many issues. So I was having a hard time detangling my hair. I was wearing my fro, wearing it natural, and it was nothing weird. But then when I went to try to detangle my hair one day, it just was not happening, and I was like, I'm not about to play. And I didn't want my hair to be green anyways. I had accidentally made my hair green. It was cute, but it was not intentional. It was not intentional at all. It was a mistake. And I knew I wasn't gonna get that color out. So trying to see, maybe I can show y'all. Okay, can you see pages without being logged in on Instagram or no? Oh, that's my blue right there. I guess I didn't see the green. I was trying to see when my hair was green. Oh, this one right here. This, I had to cut my hair after this. Then I had blue hair. So I like my colors, but still, And then I had pink. I had all these. I always have colors. And then I had my hair in locks for like the last year, almost, and I cut my locks off. It's gonna be okay, y'all. But yeah, this was a nice little go-to style, and I didn't have to color my hair for it, so we'll see. But you gotta, sometimes it's okay to evolve. It's okay to evolve. But I was just saying, like, all of my brand is really designed around, targeted towards other, like, developers, right? So it's like, I mean, this is my personal style, guess. Like, this is how you would catch me on a normal day. But, like, for this to be, like, on my LinkedIn and, like, the way that I present myself, like, publicly, professionally, that is very, very particular. Because before this, I had, like, I don't even know if you can see old pictures. I don't think you can see old pictures, but I always had more formal attire in my pictures, in like all my old headshots. Like when I was in NSB and I was an engineering student, I had like a straight like black suit on, or gray suit, that kind of thing. So yeah, I only do this because I'm very particular about, like, I know who I am presenting myself to. But yeah, as I try to go up in some other type of opportunities, I'm rethinking, who I am today versus who I was 10 years ago. So it's all gravy, y'all. I was gonna say I might as well stay here because I'm here. Dang, cloud on air, right? Opportunities like NSB are invaluable. Yeah. NSB is NSBE, National Society of Black Engineers. My sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Me and my line sister just turned 13 last week. Yeah, like, because I was first generation college student, like embarking into a different professional world that other folks around me did not have experience with. Just, it's different when you grow up in a certain type of environment. You kind of know what to expect. You see what to expect from the people around you. But when you don't grow up in those types of environments, or with people that are in those different career fields, then yeah, you do need a little bit of extra support. And then just in general, part of being in college is that growth and development. However, when you just stay on the traditional, like, I go to class and I come back to my dorm and I do my homework, and you don't really get involved in any other type of activities besides just like social activities, then you don't necessarily get that extra professional experience. So I was able to get a lot more professional grooming, like I said, just because I was a leader, and I did like a lot of different leadership roles. And a lot of those times, like when I was in NSB, regional leaders and national leaders, we had multiple leadership conferences throughout the year that was just for us, like just to get us ready, because we were the leaders of the organization. So even before, and then we hosted conferences. Like when I was a regional vice chair. When I was a regional vice chair, it was my responsibility. Like as a vice chair, usually as a vice chair, you are the person on the board or on the committee that is responsible for managing everybody else, basically. So the chair is like setting the vision and deciding what it is we're going to do and making sure that we're driving that vision forward. And the vice chair is actually the people manager on the team. And then of course everyone else on the team has a particular role that they fulfill, like a specific segment or specialization that they have to focus on. So it was important that the student leaders we got our training. We learned how to, run teams, be effective, goal setting, and all of that. How to still keep our grades up while having extra responsibilities. And then we actually, like regional leaders, they put on a regional conference. They put on 2 conferences. They put on a leadership conference for the chapter leaders, and then they put on a regional conference for all of the members in their region. And then nationally, then you're responsible for, more high level. I was National Publications Chair. So I was responsible for like branding of the organization. I was responsible for the magazine, the NSBE magazine. That was the actual publication that we literally printed every year. And that was fun. I was a site director for a Seek camp, which is our summer engineering experience for kids. So I had like 50 mentors I was responsible for. And this is all like before the age of 25, like all these different, opportunities or whatever. And then, like I said, AKA don't play. Like, you gonna be on point, just period. And it's because, pretty much all of our members they're doing great, fantastic, wonderful things, have very successful careers. And so you're learning from the best, honestly. Like when I was in interest, we had to go to like, we learned like table etiquette and like even little things like that, where you learn like what's going to happen when you go to a banquet or you go to a formal event. And you got to know which fork to eat with. Like, a lot of people just don't understand and don't know that. They don't have table manners, like, So I can say, like, a lot of it, I can definitely attribute it to the fact that not only was I in school, but I was involved in these other opportunities. Those were really good for my professional development. No, what am I want to go to cloud, see, Google Cloud next. Yeah, development through professional training. Now, and it helps because like okay, Google, look at y'all getting fancy. When you go to, like I said, tech is lenient, but a lot of other fields are not. So if you work in, more like business professional type of environment, you don't, you want to know, you kind of want to know better, right? You don't want to go to an interview and you interviewing and it's business professional, but you got on jeans and a t-shirt. Like that might seem automatic to some people, but like I said, if you didn't grow up in a certain type of environment or around people who were working in those types of careers, you might not know better. And then going to class and going to school, they don't really teach you that stuff. It's not like standard curriculum, at least not in my experience. I never had a class. I don't know, did I? I don't think I ever had a class where they were like, hey, here's like how your interviewing skills, and that was all of that extra stuff came from student orgs. Okay, so y'all got, I'm signed in. So I already watched the keynote, the opening keynote and the developer keynote. We watched both of those on stream. I watched the developer keynote yesterday. I did want to, is it crazy that these are supposed to be like people that are recognized? I don't even know who none of them are. This is the AI ML track. And then I'm just going to pick video available because it's so much on here. My folks were good people, but they didn't quite provide such life training, just hardworking blue collar. Yeah, I mean, if you like that, you can only really expose people to what you're exposed to. So I mean, you probably still know, like, hey, go to an interview, be, don't wear like, basketball shorts and like a t-shirt to your interview. But still, depending on the type of interview, like you know what I mean? Like for me, I knew I was interviewing in a situation where I'm definitely going to dress up as business professional in this setting. I'm not going to try to have wiggle room with it. Like I already wore the stripes, which is actually a little bit questionable for business professional for sure. It's not questionable. It's actually not technically business professional. But I did know like that the actual dress attire for the organization is business casual. And I also knew like, okay, I still wanted to dress it up a little bit more. I just don't have a black jacket right now, but it's okay because I'm working on it. But I knew I wasn't about to wear an all pink suit to that. That would have been a little too loud for what I was going for. So that kind of stuff, you really need like people that are experienced to kind of give you that advice. So this is a long list of bring the power of ML. I don't know if I put this one on my list, but I'm going to put this one on my list. But yeah, in my family, especially on my mom's side, my mom is so much younger than the rest of her siblings. Like there's a generation, they're in different generations. And so a lot of like my aunts and uncles it was more like you had a trade, and that's pretty much the same job you did for your entire life, and then you just retire from that. A few of like two of my aunts did go to college, but they were teachers. My two of my uncles also graduated from college, but so with them it's like, okay, they wear suits and everything, but they were in completely different industries. So it was, it was still like kind of like nobody knew like about engineering. Nobody knew really about like computer science in general. So I didn't really even learn about a lot of that stuff until I got to college, because when I first started in school, it was like, okay, you're going to go to school, but I didn't really know what I was supposed to do with my math skills, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I didn't know what to do with my math skills. So I was a math minor. I was a music major at first, actually. And then I really wasn't like, I love music. Like I've been singing since before I could talk, but I didn't enjoy my hobby becoming my profession. At least not when it came to music. Like music is more of an expression for me. It's like an outlet. I didn't like having to like practice on a specific schedule and like having to sing on demand basically. Like I never enjoyed that. And like performing is cool, but like I don't need to perform. I sing to express myself. So like when I'm just literally in my house being normal and I hear a song I like, I'm going to sing, you know what I mean? Like I don't need to be on the stage. I'm not really a performer in that regard. Like I'm not going to say I'm not a performer, because I spent a lot of years performing, but I don't need a stage to sing. I guess that's how I would put it. So I really wasn't enjoying that process after a while. And then that's what kind of sparks me to start to kind of look elsewhere for other options, because I was just like, the other people that studied music like alongside me, they were talented as well, but they were so passionate about what they were doing. And it was just kind of like, music, especially music is a hard career to be successful in, because if you're not trying, like, I don't know, it's just, It's a lot. It's a lot. And if you have classical training, like, you know, you have different options. But as a vocalist, you kind of have to find the right opportunity for yourself and hope that you're gonna be able to pay your bills. Like, it just wasn't for me. I learned about engineering from my sorority sisters after I crossed. A couple of them were engineering majors at the time. And I'm like, I miss doing like math. Like, what should I do? They're like, why are you not an engineer? I'm like, I don't know what an engineer is. I did not know what engineering was. Like, it's kind of crazy. But you know, everybody has their own experiences. So that's pretty much what got me to change into another field. Is this thing even on? Okay. Wait, what is this? Sometimes the weirdest stuff pops up on YouTube Kids app, because a lot of times YouTube will default to you can basically set on your channel, like, if your content is not for kids or if it is for kids. And then a lot of times people don't know any better, and they'll say like, oh yeah, my content is for kids because maybe they think it's safe for kids or whatever, but that's not a good idea. And I see some stuff popping up in the YouTube Kids app sometimes, and it's just like, this is not supposed to be. Ooh, let's watch the BigQuery one. This is not supposed to be showing up on here. Just us. I don't know how to fix my freaking... That boy is not getting out the bed. He going to bed. Oh, properties is back now. No, where's my filters? I'm trying to fix my filters for y'all. He is mad, but he gotta go to sleep. He didn't even take a nap today, so he's just gonna have to rock it out. Noise suppression. Okay, because all my background noise was coming through the mic. But yeah, I do want to watch this one about BigQuery because I'm doing some work with BigQuery. Let's watch this one. Let me not blow y'all ears out. Desktop audio. Preparing for a job hunt in 6 months. Building a full stack app. And learning some cloud skills. Which cloud? All right, let me turn this like all the way down before. My recommendation, cloud wise, because you're preparing for a job search, see whichever cloud is like most popular for the companies that you're looking at, because some companies are hardcore Microsoft. They're going to have everything on Azure. Like if you're doing .NET or something like that, you probably want to learn something about Azure. AWS, you really can't go wrong as like general. You can't really go wrong with AWS. I very much am particularly focused on Google Cloud right now because to me, I feel that they are premier when it comes to like first class support of machine learning. And Google is like a linchpin in generative AI especially. But they're a linchpin in machine learning research. So I like the idea of focusing my attention on Google, just because, like I said, I'm very specifically focused on machine learning. And even though all of the other cloud providers have different forms of like machine learning services, I really like what Google is doing, and I'm using them for some different projects. So that's like my thought process there. But like AWS is like a general one that a lot of people use. So if you only had to pick one, you could definitely pick AWS. I would only advise against that if you like I said, if you know like, oh, the companies I'm looking at, they all use like Microsoft stacks, they use like .NET and stuff like that, then you should definitely learn Azure, because to me most of the time Azure is the one that you're going to see the most when you see C# and .NET. But otherwise, yeah, it's really just good to have like to know kind of like some of the concepts around it. AWS, yep, just go with AWS. I mean, you might have started looking into it. Clouds are really thick, like cloud services are really, really thick. So, there's that. That's a caveat. I remember cause like cloud certs are different. They do have some general cloud certs that are like, hey, if you're, new to this, then like you could start here, like associate level and stuff like that. But most of the beefy cloud certs that a lot of people want, like I'm getting a machine learning engineering cloud cert, right? That's the one I'm focused on right now. They're really designed for you to already have experience on that cloud. So, yeah, if you're building an app and everything, like learning how to deploy it and what that process might look like is helpful. But if you are a software engineer, it depends on the teams. If you're a software engineer, for at least a semi-large tech organization, you probably won't have to manage resources in the cloud or anything. But it'll still be good to know like how to interact with the resources and things like that. Like, in my experience, the only time I had to touch the cloud, like I had to touch cloud configs on my last like big software team, only because I was on a team where our job was like the IoT connections, and that actually kind of required us to have a little bit more hands-on. But every single other software engineer at the company, they didn't really touch the cloud configurations. They didn't even need to have access to like the cloud configurations. They probably just did, they just deployed and scaled up and scaled down services. They did all their stuff in the command line, or because we had an infrastructure team, and the infrastructure team, that was really their job. But like I was on a team that was like we were unique. So in that regard, I did like have to mess around with Azure IoT Hub, AWS, but I don't know. So you kind of see you see what people are looking for in the job descriptions. Okay, so I need to switch my audio. I'm at least gonna watch this session right here. But I have to fix my routing so that y'all can hear it. Ooh, about to finish the boot camp. Want to get rid of my new boot camp grad smell. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Embrace where you are, but it is good to like have your practical experience, definitely. So yeah, you got your strategy, which is good. I teach boot camps and help people transition from boot camps all the time. And like I said, I did graduate from a boot camp as well. I was a little bit different as a boot camp student because I did have programming experience before I took my boot camp. But I wanted to be a full stack at the time. There was no such thing really as full stack JavaScript. So I had to learn a backend language. My backend language that I learned originally was Java. Java's not my favorite, but I'm experienced in Java. But I've primarily focused on JavaScript and Python. Python, of course, like machine learning. Python is good. Now, I will say, because I have been needing to kind of make sure I keep my Java fresh, I wonder if I even kept those. I had some. First and foremost, let's get this out of here. I had some. My bad, I just seen an email. Ooh. Okay, so yeah, I had some. I had some tabs from the developer keynote, and one of them was they did like a Spring Boot. I think it was Spring Boot, if I'm not mistaken. They did like a microservices demo with the generative AI. And I want to take some time on that demo at some point. Java's not my favorite only because it's so freaking verbose. Like, that's my only thing. But like, realistically, when you think about enterprise grade software, it's hard to get away from something like Java if you are a back end. It's very, very much like tested, tried and true. Spring was really awesome. So I'm trying to find those tabs. This was another thing that was announced during the keynote. Yes, the Cloud Next developer keynote. The Vercel has the generative UI, which lets you integrate like React components and LLMs together smoothly, which is really, really, really sweet. I haven't spent as much time on Next.js as I would like to. Oh, okay. So, let's see. I need to finish this application for this build program. I'm going to do this backdrop build. And can I go just to like the regular page? I wasn't expecting it to like actually have all my stuff in the tab like that. That was kind of convenient. I'm stuck on the apply page. I wanted to show y'all. Here, I'll show you in the like incognito or something. Backdrop build. Okay. I'm going to participate in this. I actually had someone reach out to me to say, "Hey, would you be interested? I saw your link, your GitHub." It's basically like it's just like a cool program where they kind of support folks building tech projects, and they're going to start again at the end of this month, I think, with the next group. So I need to finish my application. I have an AI project that I want to do. 4 weeks. It's 4 weeks. So yeah, I have an AI project that I want to do for this, but they have different categories. You can pretty much do any type of tech project you want. But the main categories they have are AI, crypto, gaming, open source, AR, VR. They have climate tech and dev tooling. So I'm definitely more focused in the AI category personally, but yeah, this is an option for people. It's called Backdrop Build. And it's more, this is not really like it's not like a hackathon. It's like, it's really more so about like kicking off and launching a tech project. So like even here, this is someone building a library. You have a lot of different, like a lot of AI themed stuff. No code for Unity, basically. That's kind of what that looks like. A natural language API. That's smart. Here, let's watch this real quick. Let me see. I fixed my routing to come through. Yeah, and then what's happening? Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. I actually might have to go, y'all. Hold on.